Hello, and thank you for joining me in another video. And once again, today we are talking about Rocket Lab. As a lot of you may know, I've been holding Rocket Lab since the very start, and I have not missed an earnings call yet, and this one won't be any different. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to take you through everything that I'm looking for in this earnings call. So after watching many Rocket Labs earning calls now, there's some stuff that I normally look for, and then there's some stuff which I think is particularly important this time around. So first of all, before we get into this, if you are new here, my name is Howard. I've been a retail investor for over 10 years now, and I am an avid Rocket Lab investor and fan. And if you're not new here, thank you for joining me again in another video. So let's get right into it, and we'll start off with the first thing that I'm looking at. And the first thing that I'm looking at, fairly simple, is to actually look at the results. So this is the outlook that they've given us, and I'm going to be looking for to see where we finished on this year. Is it within guidance, which I'm going to assume it is going to be, because they're always pretty close with that. And then I'm going to be looking attentively on what they're guiding for. So last quarter, they gave us around 170 to 180 million revenue, and gross margins on a non-GAAP basis, 43 to 45%. I expect their revenue to fall in that barrier. They seem to be very good at hitting their revenue target. I think it's possible maybe some of their deliverables that they can, like if they've got some spacecraft parts, they can kind of choose when they deliver those. And that might be why they're always able to be pretty bang on their revenue target, even if they have less launches than anticipated. So I'm expecting them to be in the ballpark with their revenue. And same again with the gross margins. We have had some positive surprises on gross margins, actually. I think a lot of people, myself included, are actually quite surprised with how quickly the gross margins have gone up for Rocket Lab. So if they can keep them high or even beat guidance on that, that will be fantastic. And then looking forward to their outlook that they give for the next quarter. Rocket Lab tends to only give guidance for the next quarter. So in this case, it will be for Q1 26. It would be great if we got more of a broader outlook kind of for the full year 2026. But I'm expecting them to give us a guidance for the coming quarter. I'm attentively looking at this because now the revenue is getting, since I've been following this from the start, the revenue is getting higher now. You know, we're talking 170, 180 million. And see if they can actually continue to grow as fast. They give us very little kind of overview of the long-term growth they're expecting, and we just kind of have to trust that this really good quarter-on-quarter and year-on-year growth is going to continue. So I really am going to be looking attentively to see what they're guiding at for this next coming quarter. Next, and probably if you're following Rocket Lab, the most important thing I think for all of us is checking in on Neutron and seeing where we are on this first launch timeline. We did, of course, have the destruction of the stage 1 tank. So that will be this area here. Whilst undergoing testing, that was destroyed. Rocket Lab have told us that. They've told us that the second tank is already in production. I think by telling us that, it means that there is going to be a delay, like we're relying on this second backup tank that was for the second Neutron launch. Now, they're going to give us an update, I hope, on what has happened here with this mishap, how long it's going to delay us. Is it just kind of a problem in testing, or is there a design fault possibly? Hopefully it's not the latter. But we really want to see, okay, where are we looking at for a launch? As long as we're staying within the 2026 year, I think that will be okay. I think anything kind of suggesting, if I was to say it's kind of only a few months delay, I think the market would take that very positively, because I think a lot of people are kind of preparing themselves for a longer delay kind of towards the end of this year. On top of that, of course, that's the main thing when it comes to Neutron, but we want to see some really good updates as usual on the progress of the whole of Neutron. It is a huge project. You can see all the different parts that go into it. I want to see the progress of the Hungry Hippo fairing. Now we know that is at the launch pad. I want to see the progress on the Archimedes engine. We know they're testing and blowing up purposefully lots of these engines at the moment. So let's see where this engine is, and also, is it close to being qualified? Is it close to them saying, okay, we give the thumbs up, this thing is ready to fly? And of course, all the other parts and testing that go into this. What is going to be a really good day is when we can see that Neutron stacked up on the pad. So hopefully we can get a view on when we can expect that to go. I also think one of the interesting things we should be ticking off soon is the stage 2 static fire. So the stage 2 here is essentially a tank with an Archimedes engine stuck to it. They already have the testing structure added to the launch mount. So they're kind of getting ready to go there. So that'll be good when we can see the first stage, or the second stage of Neutron, actually fired. So that, of course, is a massive thing that we're all going to be looking for. And I think when it comes to the stock price, that's probably the most important thing is the guidance that they give there. Next, another thing I think we're going to be attentively looking in for is the Mars Telecommunications Orbiter. There has been a lot more news on this recently. If you've been following it, you'll know this started off with Mars Sample Return. That got scrapped at the end of last year and turned into a Mars Telecommunications Orbiter, basically a satellite that can be used to send to Mars and for a communications hub to sending data to and from Mars. A couple of bits of news have come out this recently. So one, it looks like this is kind of progressing. Number two, Jared Isaacman, the head of NASA, has actually been more favorable at keeping the ideas open to, is there some research we can do into possibly starting the Mars sample return again? So he has not completely locked that off, and there is a possibility that might be coming back. And we've also seen, if you have over here in Rocket Lab's website, Mars sample return is now back on the website, and it seems like that's something NASA is considering again. Again, kind of from what I heard from Jared Isaacman, it's, okay, we're looking at this from a clean slate. Everything we've spoken about before is far too expensive. We're going to start this thing from scratch and seeing if we can do the Mars sample return. So I'm looking for some updates on this, how things are progressing. I believe Rocket Lab did actually get a small funding from NASA related to a Mars Telecommunications Orbiter research study. So it'll be good to get some updates on that. And it kind of gives us some inkling on how close are Rocket Lab to getting this? How involved are they? And number two, how close are they to actually announcing this Mars Telecommunication Orbiter, and who will actually get it? Because we don't really know at the moment. We just know that hopefully it's getting close this year. So I want to see what their prospects look like this, and also when NASA is expecting to release this, because this is going to be a big, big contract north of $500 million. So that's another really important thing that I'm going to be looking at. Next, talking about the news when it comes to the Mars Telecommunications Orbiter, another big bit of news that we've had recently is regarding Mynaric, the optical laser communications company that Rocket Lab is acquiring. This has really dragged its heels. It has been nearly a year since they announced they're acquiring this business, and it is not closed, essentially. We're hearing rumors about the German government considering this is now national security technology. Do we want to sell it out of the country? We're also getting news of some other German defense company also wanting to put their hat in the ring and possibly bid on this as well. So hopefully we get an update on this. It might be, while this is going through the legal system, we might get a very legal PC version of this, like it is progressing, and we'll keep you updated. But hopefully we can get a bit more color on this, and also some reassurance from Peter Beck that we have the capabilities to, if this was to fall through, we have the capabilities to work around it and create our own version of the satellite communications that they're going to acquire from Mynaric. So that's another very important thing that I am going to be looking at. Next, this is going to be a very positive one. It's going to make you very happy to look at this one, and it is a review of the backlog. So for the past it's been a few quarters now, this backlog has looked, unfortunately, pretty stale. It's stayed hovering around that 1 billion to 1.1 billion mark. Whilst we're growing revenue every single quarter, so it's not that we're not adding on to that backlog, because we are adding on to the backlog. We're just kind of going through that same amount every single quarter. What we're going to see this time is, of course, the addition of that huge SDA Tranche 3 award. That is the biggest award that Rocket Lab has ever had. We're going to see that slapped right on the top of this backlog. So we already know this is going to be really, really good to look at. It's going to be the biggest backlog that Rocket Lab has ever had by far. So we're going to get that. But also, hopefully, I mean, we can get a bonus of some other stuff that might be getting added onto there as well. So we can roughly calculate that what the Tranche 3 award is going to be on top of the backlog. If there is any extra stuff added on there, that will be great. We need this business to be growing as fast as possible as the space industry goes. So we're talking about selling parts, selling components, and also possibly other satellites to other private companies, as well as governments we know that they work with. So the backlog is going to be a very important one to look at, always has been, and it's going to be particularly exciting to check in on this quarter. Next, we'll check in on the launches. So we know that we had a record for launches in 2025. We had 21 Electron launches in 2025, and they guided us for 20 plus launches by the end of the year, and we got that. I know a lot of people, including myself, were hoping for more than that, but I am used to now. This is a very, very hard industry. And if you're growing kind of as fast as they are, we should be happy with that. And timelines and deliverables always slip. So what I'm looking for is to give us a bit of color on that. Also a bit of color on what they have booked in for this year and what rough guidance are they going to give for us this year. We've been growing really nicely year on year on year. We know that Rocket Lab can have a high launch cadence, which is actually one of the hardest things in rocketry. It's having the ability to fire off rockets this consistently and this reliably. Do they have the customers that are ready to launch, and what are we looking at this year? Because if we're looking at beating 21, we're looking at kind of 24 launches. That is on average a launch every single 2 weeks. That's a launch. That's 2 launches a month consistently for the whole year. So if they can do that, it's kind of what we need to be doing, but it's certainly going to be a fast pace that they're going to be doing for this year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they are guiding for and what they can release and tell us about what they're guiding for Electron launches this year. And that will, of course, be normal Electron rocket launches into orbit, but also HASTE, which we have a HASTE launch coming up very soon. We are expecting, we've been waiting for a while for HASTE to really pick up steam. So hopefully we can see kind of a higher cadence coming from HASTE this year as well. And finally, so this is the last update we had on the Golden Dome properly in terms of having a slide, was actually in the Q2 report. So I've gone and dug that up. It'll be really good to see an update on this. So we're talking about the Golden Dome here, the massive over $100 billion being allocated towards this Golden Dome by the Trump administration. Want to see where this is, like how close are we to getting awards on this, and also what Rocket Lab thinks that they're going to be able to pitch here. We now have Geost as a part of the Rocket Lab corporation, so they have lots of those payloads which will work into this. See what extra color they can give us on this golden opportunity. And with this, talking about the Golden Dome, what other stuff are they bidding on? It would be really interesting to see if there are any other possible government contracts that they are bidding on, any stuff that they've thrown the hat into the ring on, because we know Golden Dome is a big one, but there's constantly other defense opportunities out there as well. And that is an opportunity for Rocket Lab to use technology they already have, but also get paid to develop new opportunities. And you never know, there might be some stuff outside of the US as well, inside of these other countries that they work with, like the ESA, European Space Agency, and also JAXA, for example, the Japanese Space Agency. So I'm really attentively looking at to see if we can get some color on, okay, we've got that Tranche 3 award. That was a huge, huge award. What else can we look forward to in the future? We've got the MTO. Are there any other big constellations we can look at? Because that's just something else for us to get excited for, and we can kind of think ahead. Okay, that's another possible addition to our backlog that we're coming. And I'd also like to know, of course, we're very government heavy at the moment with kind of what they're bidding for. Are there any possible partnerships in the public sector that we're looking at as well on building constellations, particularly for something like the Flatellite? I think that would be amazing for the business if they can show they're executing on huge government contracts, but also getting big private constellations as well, either just being servicing a customer or maybe even a partnership with that. I think that would be really, really strong as well. So that is a quick overview of everything that I'm looking for. I'm going to be attentively watching this. I think it's going to be really exciting, cool. It's the end of the year. It's the end of a really exciting year. Lots of records smashed and lots of exciting things looking into ahead into in 2026. So I'm going to be watching this attentively. I'm also, of course, going to be doing an overview of kind of my thoughts and opinions, and also just give you a summary of what happened in the call and what they released. So I really hope that you found this useful. If you have, please leave me a like and a comment if you are going to be checking in on this Rocket Lab earnings call, and let me know what you're looking forward to as well. And if I've missed anything out, please also let me know in the comments. I'd like to know what you're excited to listen into. So apart from that, thank you again for joining me, and I will see you on the very next video.